important here. So in order to find out your moment of inertia, so generally for plane geometric figures or otherwise irregular geometric figures also, we will apply these two theorems. So one parallel theorem, first one parallel axis theorem, parallel axis theorem. One is another one is second one is perpendicular axis theorem. Perpendicular axis theorem. So these two theorems are very important. So uh, these will come in external examinations also. Based on this, we will solve entire moment of inertia problem based on these two theorems. Entire moment of inertia problems, whether it may be mass moment of inertia, whether it may be area moment of inertia, we will solve based on these two theorems only. If you are not able to understand these two theorems very clearly, we are not going to get single solution for single problem also. Okay, so please be careful about these two theorems. So I will explain very clearly. So see here, first of all, moment of inertia we have to find out for any geometric figure. Any geometric figure. For irregular geometric figures, it is little bit of complicated to find out the moment of inertia. But for regular geometric figure, so regular in geometry means it will have certain shape. So it is not having any certain shape means irregular shape means it is irregular figure. Regular shape means in our daily life we will generally see triangle, rectangle, square, trapezium, circle, ellipse, ellipse. Okay. So up to there only we will have only 6 to 8 regular geometric figures. Okay. So cone, cylinder, so this kind of regular geometric figures and also solid bodies is also there. So for those kind of mass element and area elements, we will have directly formulas. Why? Because so many scientists they have derived the proof for them. So if you know the proof, if you know the formula directly, you put that formula and you will go for calculating moment of inertia. But for irregular geometric figures, you have to go for derive the formulas and afterwards applying those formulas, you have to get the value or otherwise solution for moment of inertia. So for here, so basically, see here, I'm going to uh, derive the first one, parallel axis theorem to here. So first of all, represent any reference axis. Any reference axis means we are having two reference axes. One is y-axis, another one is x-axis. X-axis. So take here any irregular geometric figure, any figure, regular or otherwise irregular, any kind of thing you will take. So area of this particular figure or otherwise we will call it as a lamina. Lamina is nothing but a big quantity or big geometric figure. So this having this figure which is having lamina, it is having area as capital A. So for this one, if I want to find out the moment of inertia, first of all, take any differential element which you are going to apply our parallel axis theorem. So for that purpose, I am going to take here differential element. So differential element is nothing but a smaller element, so which is divided into number of segments. So this is one of those segments here. So differential segment or otherwise differential strip or other differential element is going to be have the differential area here small dA. Small dA. If dA is the elemental area, now find out first of all what is the center of this differential elemental area. So where it is going to be located means, so you will see here, you will see here. So this is the centroidal location of the elemental area. So first of all we will find out the moment of inertia for this element and afterwards we will integrate within the limits of this particular lamina. Within the limits of particular lamina. What are the limits here? How much amount of total area is there? So from 0 to A, from 0 to A, if you integrate it, 0 to A means whatever the starting value is there for this particular lamina, So with that and also up to area of that particular lamina. If you integrate in between these two limits, you will get the total entire moment of inertia for total lamina. So that is our concept here. Okay, that is our concept. So see here, what I am trying to do is, first of all, I have to locate the position of the centroid. So in order to locate the position, we need to get two known coordinates of this particular point. Okay, so if G is my particular centroidal point for this one, so for this, what I am going to do is, I have to go for, I have to go for, see here, I have to go for, I have to go for take another reference axis, take another reference axis which is passing through the centroid of the particular differential element, centroid of the particular differential element. So see here, I am taking two extra axes which are passing through the centroid of the particular differential element. So that's why if G is a centroid term, so centroid G is a term which is representing the centroid as capital G. So if any axis is passing through the centroid along x-axis, means it is a centroidal axis we are going to call. So Gx is a centroidal axis along x-axis and Gy is going to be axis along y-axis through the differential centroid, differential element centroid. Okay, so Gx and Gy are the centroidal axes for differential element, and also for xy it is a reference system for representing your total entire lamina. Total entire lamina. Total entire lamina. So for that purpose, what I am trying to do is from here to here. So from here to here, how much amount of distance, that how much amount of distance we have assumed this central axis. Assume this central axis. So it is having x is the coordinate, and from here to here, sorry, from here to here it is a is a quantity, and from here to here in it means from x to gx it is a b is your constant, constant value. So a and b are the respective constant values, or otherwise distances between your x-axis and your gx-axis. So x-axis is your reference axis for this lamina, and gx-axis is your reference central axis for this differential element. For this differential element. Okay. Now what you are going to do is, what you are going to do is, so or suppose, or suppose, so see here, this total centroid of the particular lamina, so see here, if G is the total centroid of this particular lamina, sorry, one mistake is happened, so see here, I will clear, I will draw neatly. This is the total entire lamina. So for this lamina, I am having the centroid. Lamina, I am having the centroid. So in order to calculate, I am going to be moment of inertia. In order to calculate, I am going to assume one elementary portion. So this is also having centroid. So that is here. So through the entire lamina centroid, I am going to pass two reference axes. So one is your gx. So Gx and Gy are the lamina central axis, not your differential element central axis. Okay. So Gx and Gy. So these are the XY reference system. Okay. So in between these two axes, it means your lamina centroid and your reference centroid axis is nothing but your area. For that particular area, capital A, small a is your distance, and small b is your distance between this x-axis and this gx-axis. Okay, this x and y are the centroidal coordinates of this particular center point of your lamina or this lamina. Okay, then what about the differential element locations? Differential element location with respect to gx-axis, I am going to get y as a perpendicular distance here. Okay, with respect to gx axis, the differential element will make as x. Okay, so for this differential element only, I am having the coordinates as x and y with respect to gx and gy. Okay, so first of all, I am going to find out this differential element moment of inertia, and afterwards, if I integrate it, then I will go for getting this total entire moment of inertia for this particular lambda at this centroid. At this centroid. Okay, so we will know that moment of inertia about x axis. About x axis is nothing but we know that integration of differential element or otherwise area differential element into square of the perpendicular distance between them. So what is the square of the perpendicular distance? So with respect to x axis I am going to find out, not with gx axis. See here, remember this thing. So my reference axis is x here, ix, not gx. Okay, with respect to this is my base axis. This is my base axis which is parallel to gx axis and also which is maintaining b as your distance. B as your distance. Then go for giving the what is the total distance here. Y plus b is the total distance with respect to x axis is there. Then go for y plus b as the total distance which is maintaining from x axis. So y plus b whole square. Y plus b whole square. Now square of that. So that's why this is the formula. What is the moment of inertia definition? So moment of inertia is nothing but area of the particular element into product of this into square of the centroidal distance. So square of the central distance is nothing but my elemental area distance will be your y plus b. So this is my y plus b is the total distance per elemental centroid. Okay, y plus b whole square. So if you integrate it, you will get between what and what? Between the limit 0 to a. Between the limit 0 to a. Okay, y plus b whole square into a. Then go for first of all, you have to expand here. So y plus b whole square means y square plus b square plus 2yb. 2yb. Okay, so this total term is going to be integrated with respect to area between 0 to a. Between 0 to a. Between 0 to a. Now if you take y square into dA, so see here integration of y square into dA and the second term 2b into y into dA. Next term will be b square into dA. Okay, but we know that y square into dA, this y square into dA is nothing but we know the moment of inertia formula that area into square of the distance between the centroid is nothing but area into y square is nothing but it is related to y is nothing but our only moment of inertia. Sorry, it is a perpendicular distance with reference to which axis? With reference to your gx axis. So this gx is nothing but your central axis of that particular element. So that's why this total entire term is going to be replaced with moment of inertia about central axis igx. I have replaced. So this total entire term y I have replaced here. Y I have replaced with igx. So the why? Because this y is the centroidal distance with respect to which axis? With respect to centroidal axis, that is your gx axis. That's only igx plus. So this y into dA is nothing but your first moment of area. But first moment of area will always 0. Why? Because in calculating moment of inertia, we are going to calculate only second moment. We are going to consider only second moment only. So that's why only first moment of area is always 0. So then go for next third term. So third term b square is your constant term. So b square So B square is your constant term, take it outside. And integration of dA between A 0 to A elements is nothing but your capital A you are going to take. AB square otherwise B square A. Okay. So this Ix is nothing but your centroidal distance, centroidal moment of inertia plus area into square of the distance between two parallel axes. Two parallel axes is your B. So see here, one parallel axis, one axis is your x-axis and another axis is your gx-axis. This is your gx-axis. This is your gx-axis. So this thing is your gx-axis. This is your x-axis. So what is meant by parallel axis theorem is nothing but second moment of area of any geometric sphere, that is irregular, whether it is regular or irregular. So second moment of area of this any irregular geometric plane figure, which is going to be equal to, okay, so summation of your centroidal axis, centroidal moment of inertia, and also product of your area and square of the distance between the centroidal distance. Square of the distance between two parallel axis distance. So two parallel axis distance is nothing but, so one axis is your gx axis and another axis is your x axis. So these two are parallel to each other, which are going to be deviated with b distance, which are going to be deviated with b distance. And also another two parallel axis gy and gy and y. So those are going to be deviated with a axis. So that is going to be find out with respect to y axis. So moment of inertia about y axis is nothing but centroidal moment of inertia about y axis. Okay, so centroidal moment of inertia about y axis plus area into, so product of area into square of the distance between those two parallel axes. So those two parallel axes is nothing but about y axis, parallel axis and y and gy. So what is the distance between these two? A is the distance between these two parallel axes, and if you product them with your area, so it is going to give the total moment of inertia about y axis. About y axis. Okay, so this is the parallel axis theorem. So parallel axis theorem is nothing but we will take two reference axes. So both are mutually parallel to each other. Okay, so both are going to be have some distances between them. Okay, so after this we will go for finding out the differential elements centroid, and also these are also making x and y coordinates respectively. And if you go for integrating or otherwise by applying moment of inertia formula, if you go for integrating per differential element, you are going to get the total moment of inertia as this much amount, as this much amount. Iy by Ig plus area y square, area into a square. This much amount you are going to get. So look carefully this whatever the parallel axis theorem is there. So look carefully, and after the Pongal we will discuss perpendicular axis theorem, or otherwise if you wait for 2 minutes we will go for take a perpendicular axis theorem also. Okay, so we will finish, no problem. So see here, perpendicular axis theorem is nothing but, no, very simple only. So see here, I have taken same lamina. So same lamina I have taken. So the central position of this lamina is located at this particular point. So for this one, x is my x-axis and y is my y-axis, which are passing through the center point of this lamina. Center point of this lamina. So x and y and z, three axes are there. Three axes are there. So what is this z-axis mean? This z-axis is nothing but it is the perpendicular axis we have assumed, we have taken for these two mutually perpendicular axes. So x and y are two mutually perpendicular axes. Okay. So these are going to make certain r is the distance between your z-axis to your xy plane. Your z-axis to your xy plane. So that is the r. So see here, I have taken a differential element as dA. Okay, so total area of the lamina is A. Okay, if I want to find out the moment of inertia about this perpendicular axis to this plane, so for this x and y axis, z is a perpendicular, mutually perpendicular axis, which is going to make as a small r is the distance. So small r is the distance means see here. So small r is the distance. This is r is the distance, perpendicular distance for these two axes. So x is your horizontal distance for where we have assumed your differential element. Okay, and y is your perpendicular distance for this centroid. Okay, where we have assumed our differential element. Okay, so for this one, so see here, we know that moment of inertia about IZZ axis, IZZ axis is nothing but if any about any axis is nothing but any axis is nothing but with, between your area between your area, so product of your area into square of the perpendicular distance. So square of the perpendicular distance is, if it is about z axis means r is my perpendicular distance. So if it is about z axis means, so z is mutually perpendicular distance to which one? Which one? Our xy plane. Our xy plane. So this is my x plane and that is my y plane. This is my x plane and this is my y plane. So area into r square is my moment of inertia. If you are going to integrate 0 to a, so if you want to do it, I have to consider differential element. I have to consider differential element here. So see here, so differential element is my dA that into r square. dA into r square. We know that r square is equal to, see here, from this as a triangle where we have taken differential this as a triangle, we know that replacement of r square is equal to, from the Pythagoras theorem, we know that x square plus y square, x square plus y square, x square plus y square. Just simply put this one. So r square is equal to x square plus y square. So go for putting in above formula, you will get dA value. So dA value is dA only. So x square plus y square, x square plus y square into dA, into dA. So this will become how? So from here we replaced r square as x square plus y square into dA. So if you integrate here 0 to a, if you integrate here 0 to a, you will get, if we expand it, first of all you will expand it. So after expanding, you will get x square into dA plus y square into integration of y square into dA. Integration of y square into dA. These are the right hand side values. And we know that, see here, x is my perpendicular distance which is maintaining with respect to the y axis, and y is my perpendicular distance which is maintaining with respect to the x axis, So that's why only x square dA is nothing but our moment of inertia. This is second moment, So that's why only moment of inertia as Iyy. Okay, Iyy plus y square into dA is nothing but y is how much it is with respect to which axis it is making. It is with respect to x axis it is making. So that's only Ixx. We will replace it with Ixx. Okay, it means any perpendicular, from any perpendicular axis theorem, we will know that moment of inertia about any perpendicular axis to the remaining planes is equal to algebraic sum of all individual moment of inertia about the particular axes. Those two particular axes are Ix and Iy. So this Izz is equal to Ixx plus Iyy is the moment of inertia. So through perpendicular axis theorem we have found this form. Okay, Izz is equal to Ix plus Iy. Ixx plus Iyy. So this is the perpendicular axis theorem. So parallel axis theorem is nothing. We are assuming a parallel axis Okay, for the reference axis. So perpendicular axis theorem is nothing. We are assuming a perpendicular axis to some reference axis, and we are going to find out the remaining required steps to find out the moment of inertia. Okay, so these are two very important formulas, very useful in finding out moment of inertia in respect to coming classes. Definitely. So once you see these two theorems, okay, if you are having any difficulty in solving the theorem, in the next class you will ask. Definitely, I will help you to solve your problems or rather solve your doubts. So we will stop here. No problem. Is there any doubts? Any doubts, please ask me.